Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I was reading this sutta recently. About unskillful thoughts. Have you learned this one before? Akusalavitakkasutta. This is among the section of the deities, Vanavagga. So when the monks were to meditate at the forest, it said that these some of the deities desiring for their sense of urgency. So these deities talk to these meditating monks, and then give them some support to motivate for the meditation. Okay, this is what happened. Let's see. At one time, one of the mendicants was staying in the land of the Kosalans in a certain forest group. Okay, where did they live? Kosalans. Do you know where is it? Kosalans? Kosalans means a state in India, in the Uttar Pradesh, Kosalan, Uttar Pradesh, UP, Kosalans. Actually, this is where mostly the Buddha also lived. But nowadays it is, as I remember, it is Varanasi. So Varanasi is a very big, crowded province, a city. Yeah. There are the Buddha's temple. The monastery was also there. So the Buddha lived together with many monks at that place. So normally after getting a meditation object, what they do, the monks do, is go to a very peaceful place, a secluded place. Mostly that place would be a forest, or a root of a tree, or a cave, or near a waterfall, or somewhere. Like they go to such a place. Okay. Now this monk, after learning the meditation, so he went to the forest group. Now at that time, that mendicant means given to begging. Actually, mendicant means monk. So I think the reason why this term is being used in this Bhante Sujata's translation of the Buddha's teachings, suttas, is because it applied to both monastics, whether it's a monk or a nun. So it is not just a monk, but it can also be a nun. Nun means normally we call bhikkhuni. A bhikkhu is the monk. Now at that time, that mendicant, during their day's meditation, was thinking bad unskillful thoughts. Are there such thoughts? Bad thoughts? What are the metrics, the standards to treat something as bad, like a thought? Which thoughts are bad? Like anger, let's say anger, is it bad? Are you sure? Why is it bad? Anger? Yeah, it's harmful. Something according to the Buddhist teachings, how I learned was that what Buddha explained that whatever harmful for both ends, like if something harmful for you and harmful for the other, it is bad. That's how the Buddhist matrix for this, like to understand and recognize the unskillful thoughts. Okay, so then if the anger is unskillful, what is a skillful thought? Yeah, compassion, loving kindness. So these are good thoughts. Okay. But when it comes to the meditation, if we are going to develop our concentration and if we are going to develop mindfulness, depending on that context, there are some unskillful thoughts. That is the thought of sense desire. Here it said thought, sensual thought, which means the thought of sensual desire, which means there are thoughts which connected to the sense objects. I mean, like there are thoughts that we continuously think. It works in our mind, even though that we don't need. Like there is like a strong current of these thoughts flowing into the mind about the sights, about the sounds, the smells, taste, and touch is always entered into the mind. So that is what here like is thought as sensual thought, which means whatever the thought connected with the sense pleasure. While we are going to meditate, we might experience these thoughts. This is what people say, like mind is wandering, it's going to the past and to the future. It go to this pleasure of the sense object. It takes like it brings us some kind of a wanting, kind of a desire for these sense objects. Perhaps let's say for an example, when we are going to meditate, so our mind goes to a, let's say to a something that we had in the past. Let's say I had a discussion with one of my friends, so it enters to the mind. So that is a thought of sense desire. Why? Because it is connected with the sense object, which means we were there, like interacted with a person with our senses. Even though that I'm going to meditate, we are going to meditate, it enters to the mind, even that it is not useful at that moment. Let's say, for an example, there are times we remember the songs, music, movies that we watched, or the food that we had, and wanting again and again, like imagining in the future to get it again. So that is sensual thought. So do we need these thoughts? Okay. While meditating, what happens if the mind go to that mental like movie, like going fantasizing that set of thoughts about the sense pleasures? Do we need that during the meditation? What do you think? Now, according to the one-pointedness, like the Buddha said, the first jhana, that is our challenge. Now, while we're meditating, there is a moment that our mind should enter to the stillness. I mean, if our practice is successful, it should enter to the one-pointedness, which means your mind is pointed only with the breath. If you were doing the breathing meditation, there, Buddha say, you don't have sensual thoughts without empty, yeah, just Just all you know is the breath. You don't have past. You don't have future. You don't even have the sensations here in this moment. Sensation means you don't distracted by any thought, any bodily distraction. So in that moment, your mind is still. When the Buddha explained that, Buddha say it is vivicheva kamihi, you don't have sensual thoughts. But let's say you spend like, so you don't have any distraction. Let's say you stay like that for 1 hour, you can easily stay 1 hour. If you train well, you can stay 2 hours. Why? Because you don't have any distraction. So your mind always is still. And there the Buddha said the experience of the body is very calm, very relaxed. Buddha said that body will be so much peace, like soothing. It brings, it said that they feel like it again and again like refreshes them, their body, just like after a shower. We have some refresh without even getting a shower. So the body will be so much refreshing. So that is the happiness separated from sensual thought. So there is no any sense pleasures in that moment. Our mind is not wandering to these sense pleasures of the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. That's why sometimes there are some teachings like the stories in the Buddhist texts, like there were the kings controlling entire country with all the sense pleasures that they need. At some point, they start to meditate, the king. And then he found out so much soothing feeling and so peaceful. So he want to like meditate more. So what he do is to abandon his king life because he's having much more happy feeling inside. So with the first jhana, that doesn't mean for anyone who need to meditate and to attain first jhana should abandon sense pleasures, but it means they need to neutralize during the meditation. So that doesn't also mean like you cut off your relationship with your worldly affairs, like your jobs and your family, like that. But it's simply you are achieving that during the meditation. So you have much more space in you. So everything will be uh, going very well, like very easily without distraction. So because if we can live with the present moment without distraction from the past and the future, isn't that helpful for our household life? Yeah, it's definitely support our household life to make good decisions, to make good choices without being attacked by the desires. Mostly our senses are driven by our craving. Even though the purpose would be different, I might have a different purpose, but what is going on with the uncontrolled senses is it takes to many like destinations, so can bring us regret later. So but doing meditation, so mind will be peaceful. So now what is the first distracted thought, unskillful thought to the meditation? Thoughts on? Yeah, sensual thought. You can see this on the screen, like the one that highlighted, sensual thought. Next one is malicious. What is malicious? Evil thoughts. When I'm not getting what I want according to my desire, there will be another set of thoughts. That is the thought of resistance. Let's say I want something, let's say I want a food to be delicious, so I don't get that. So what happened? There will be the other side of the sensual desire, the resistance. So my mind will start to bring me so many distracted thoughts with anger, maliciousness, like and also the resistance. Why this food is not like that? Like why I have to eat this? is this for, like, the distracted thoughts enter into the mind. Okay, so that is the malicious thought. And the next one is the cruel thought. Cruel means one need to harm. Like, let's say one think of harming a person, whatever. Like, it can be harming for oneself, harming for another, or harming for anyone around. So it is called the cruel thought. Okay? Sensual thought, malicious thought, cruel thoughts. Now, what happened to this mendicant while he was going to meditate was that he was thinking all these sensual, malicious, and cruel thoughts, which means, does his mind was peaceful?
No.
No, his mind was not peaceful. What was going on with his mind? He was, distracted by three thoughts: sensual, malicious, and cruel thought. Okay. Now, what is his hope? His hope is to still his mind. But what's going on? He's being attacked by distracted thoughts. The deity haunting that forest had sympathy for that mendicant and wanted what's best for them. So they approached that mendicant, wanting to stir them up and address them in verse. Why is it say they?
Them, but
Eh?
why is it say them?
Yeah.
I think again the same reason is that the mendicant could be either male or female, right? So I think they didn't want to use him or her.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. The deity haunting that forest had sympathy for that mendicant and wanted what's best for them. So they approached that mendicant way, wanting to stir them up and address them in verse. Now, what is the desire that the deity had was that he wanted that mendicant to stir, like to increase his energy, to make him a sense of urgency, like, you do this urgent, like, do this now. Don't be trapped in these unskillful thoughts. Like, there is such a thing, right? So there is this daydreaming, like, with a bunch of unskillful thoughts always going on. So in that moment, it brings up anxiety. It brings us depression. It brings us fear about the future. It brings us all the mental illnesses, because that's how the mind, when it is not purified, when it is not cleansed, so it can bring us all these unskillful thoughts. And later it can put the mind into a state where that much suffering could exist. So this deity wanted to stir him up. This is what he said. Because of irrational application of mind, you are consumed by your thoughts. Actually, the other Bhante's, Bhikkhu Bodhi Bhante's translation for this one is like not the consumed, but he put this very direct translation for that word, devoured, like eaten. So if you replace that, so because of your irrational application of the mind, because of your careless attention to your mind, you are eaten, you are devoured by your own thoughts.
Occupied, better, I think. Devoured.
Yeah, that's
Occupied.
that's how the Bhikkhu Bodhi Bhante's translation I found out. So I mostly stick into these two translations. So devoured by your own thoughts. What do you think? Is it correct or incorrect to say the sensual thoughts, malicious thoughts, and cruel thoughts devour us? Let's say if we spend all our day by thinking about these angry thoughts, let's say anger is more easy to understand. Let's say there's anger. So what happens if we spend entire day thinking about the angry thoughts? oh, that person did this to me, did that to me, treated me like that, treated me like this. Why I have to go through this pain? So it's not my fault, but others are doing this to me. What happen if I were to think all these thoughts all day long? At the end of the day, what will be my feeling? Yeah?
Tired?
Yeah, so tired. So tired. So tired, and even a little thing can trigger us, like even yeah, simple things can bring us so sad because of leaving these thoughts to enter to the mind. Okay? It is what is called consumed, devoured, being so tired. Even during a meditation, let's say we want to meditate and we need to still the mind. But what happens is that mind is bringing up all these unskillful thoughts. And we stand up from the cushion with so tiredness. Yeah. Body aches all the way, like everywhere. But if it were to enter to the stillness, there will be so relaxed and soothing feeling. A higher feeling, higher happiness. It's said that the Brahmas are used to live with the first jhana. Like they always, their mind is still in the Brahma world. So, but in the human world, with the sensual pleasures, we have to face to this. So there will be distractions and tiredness. When you have given up irrationality, make sure your thoughts are rational. So the deity say, think up rationally. Abandon thinking irrationally. Because of you are thinking irrationally, you are applying your mind irrationally. That's why you are being consumed by these unskillful thoughts. Now he gives the solution. Okay. Thinking about the teacher, the teaching, the Sangha, and your own ethics. This is the one I like most. Think about your own ethics, your sila, your virtue. He said, think about the teacher. Here the teacher means the Buddha. Think about the Buddha, which means the Buddha's life. It brings inspiration. Buddha went through a very distracted lifestyle. He had to do many dedications to get into the enlightenment. It was not that easy, but he had to do many dedications to attain the enlightenment and to find the peace of heart. So think about his life, Buddha's life, and think about the teaching. Teaching means the things that you learned so far. Yeah, the Dharma. Were you learning Dharma for a long time? How long? Many times, like many sessions. I have seen every one of you before. Yeah. So at some point you have learned something with the Dhamma. So think about the Dhamma. Let's say you learned in the Dhamma about the loving kindness meditation. So he said, think about the Dhamma. And the next, he said, think about the Sangha. Sangha means the mendicants who attain the enlightenment, who completely attain the enlightenment. That's the inspiration they are making in their mind about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Why? Because that will motivate that one person, like the practitioner, to get into the goal. Why? Because the rest of the other tools are so much distracted and taking ourselves away from us. Okay, let's say a life without sensual thoughts. What would be that? Always, what do you think? Can we survive like that? Life without malicious thought, cruel thoughts? Well, that little bit makes sense. If there is no malicious thought and cruel thought, all they have is the loving kindness. Their mind has the loving kindness and compassion. Cruel thought means the opposite of the compassion. So there will be compassion and malicious thought. And how about if there is no sensual thoughts? There's only one problem. If in the household life, if we were to live without empty of the sensual thoughts, our mind, the peace of mind will more easy to break. If we were to attain the stillness in the household life, because we should interact with the sense pleasures, it will be more and more challenging to protect that. This is not a problem with the world. It's not the problem with our lifestyle, but it is how it is. Like it is, there are this engagement with the sense pleasures, so it will easily break the peace of mind. So that's why Buddha say to meditate always. We should meditate always, because it will be more and more difficult to protect that. Okay, so one day a person came to the Buddha, the king, Prince Mahanama. He asked Buddha, so you teach me the Dhamma, so I follow in the Dhamma and I meditate and meditate. But still I have anger. Still I have sensual desire. I still have a delusion. I was wondering, Buddha, why still I have these distracted thoughts? Why I cannot give up entirely? Buddha say, if you were to give up entirely, which means in a way of like uprooting it so that you don't get that thoughts again. If you were to uproot them, you won't live in your household life. That's what the Buddha said. Which means in the household life, compared to the monastic life, there is much more difficulty. Like it's challenging, much more challenging to make the mind peaceful, right? So that's how the Buddha taught. So yeah, challenge. So if we don't take our responsibility about our life, there will not be anyone who is taking that for us. So we need now the Buddha say the sensual pleasures and the life that we have is like a strong current of a stream going so fast downwards. Like whatever falling to that stream takes so fastly to the downwards. Let's say a tree fallen down to that strong current of the stream, so it quickly takes that tree to the downwards. If a leaf or a man or a woman, whatever falling down, an animal, so because of the current is so fast, so it takes so fast to the down. Okay? Buddha said that is how the sense pleasures. Even a simple thing, a tiny thing can enough to trap, like the attach us nowadays. Like there are so many attractive things. So when we see that, so it can swept us ourselves so fast. I remember one day I was watching, the YouTube. All of a sudden, advertisement like pops up. So what happened was that it said about the chocolate. Okay, so the chocolate is like a small chocolate ball covered with the cashew, like the nuts, like and all over, like it breaks, and then there is like caramel, and then there is the sound, and there are so many like effects and transitions. I was going to watch like a Dhamma talk. But what happened was this advertisement, so making me so much craving. And later I found out this chocolate ball was very little, like this much, but it showed up like a very big, yeah, strong current, so difficult to let go, making more and more craving because of the transitions, because of the effects, because of the yeah. So whatever fallen down takes so fast. Now Buddha said there is one person fallen down to this stream. What he's doing is to swim not towards the stream, but against the stream. There is a one man fallen down. So he's trying to go against the current when it is going very fast. So Buddha said that is how this um, practitioner, this disciple, he tried to think about the teacher, think about the teaching, think about the Sangha, trying to swim up against the stream. It can be so challenging because all the world flows into one direction, but one person is going to go the other direction and trying to let go and detach, letting go, detachment, giving up, desire. Why? So like others ask, why you want to meditate? Why you don't find any enjoyment? So that person is meditating and trying to giving up. Yeah. So the Buddha said, it is like that. So it is so fast, but one want to do that responsibility for one's own life in order to um, still the mind and to develop mindfulness. So then the deity said, think about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and your own ethics. What are the ethics? Are we observing ethics in our life? Yes.
Precepts.
Before we starting our discussion, we got some training rules, training precepts. And in your life also, you might have some ways that you conduct, that you don't do something that which brings you regret. So you have your own way, like your ethics, your wealth, your inner wealth, your moral wealth.
But your own ethics should be based on the teaching of the
Yeah.
Dhamma.
Well, yeah. Normally in our essence of our human nature, we don't kill living beings. We have that. We don't like to harm others. So we don't harm and kill living beings. We don't steal. So these are actually Buddha didn't created his own rules. Why? Because it was already existed. Buddha taught that, but it is said that Buddha, before entering to the mother's womb, so the mother is a person naturally observes the training rules, like the five precepts. So she don't harm living beings. So it said that the Buddha entered to the womb of that person, like the Queen Mahamaya, because she was having this ethics in her life. Okay. So think about that. Let's say now your mind is attacked by these distractions. So you recall about a moment that you saved a life. That's a good side, a good side of our life. Like we can increase, like we can think up again and again, rather than going with this direction of like anger. Let's say something was happened, so our mind is bringing them up again and again. So you should do this, you should do that. So when those things enters to the mind, so what we do is we start to recall about our ethics. Oh, for this much long I haven't killed a living being. This much long I haven't stolen. This much time I haven't spoken any harsh word. Let's say like that. It depends with the person. We cannot say that you should do this, like adapt this way of thinking. There can be your own way of thinking, so you can reflect that. Because in that moment, what you are doing is you are trying to replace. So there is a one thought distracting. You are bringing a new thought. You are introducing a new thought to replace that one, the already fixed one. Because the mind can only stay with a single thought at once, even though that we feel like we having so many distractions, but it only stick to one thought at a time, one thought at a time. So what you do is you are introducing a new set of thought. Let's say ethic is a giving and sharing. Let's say we do giving and sharing. We can think about, oh, I practice giving and sharing. Yeah, does this make sense? Because the practice is actually something to be known by practicing. I mean, this teaching is something to be known by practicing, not by imagining. You know, we talked about this other day in our Tuesday class, like we have this doubt before we starting a practice. We have doubt. So we judge, we think, oh, that's impossible. How? How that happens? Like, can you do that? Yeah. There can be many ways of like doubting ourselves and the teaching. But first we need to put it into the practice. That's how we unravel the doubts. Okay? So we think Buddha, we think Dhamma, we think Sangha. You know, if we were to think about the Buddha in that moment, or my master Buddha didn't have any anger, so he taught me this beautiful Dhamma where that take me to the enlightenment. So these are beautiful things. So we think, oh, loving kindness, making everybody happy. It makes my mind happy. So when we rely on that side, so we can neutralize the power of this anger, sensual thought, malicious thought, and cruel thoughts. Do you know what is this wooden pegs? Have you seen wooden pegs? You know the nails made out of wood? In one teaching, Buddha talk about abandoning distracted thoughts. He said, there are these wooden nails made out of wood. You know, have you seen the wooden chairs? Wooden chairs. So perhaps those days the wooden chairs was more popular. So the Buddha say, amongst, have you seen these wooden pegs? You know, let's suppose there is a chair made out of wood. How they put that chair, like how they fix it, is by keeping one, like, you know, one beam, like one wood upon the other wood, and they make a hole and send this a wooden peg inside. Okay. So over time, what happens is that the wooden chair will be very fitted and very well like fixed, very well strengthy. So anyone can sit down. So it's not like shaking or wobbling. But at some point, when the time goes by, because of this wooden peg is losing it's decaying and it's losing its power. So it will be loose, and then the chair lost its strength. It will start to shake and cannot stay in that chair. It's kind of like scaring to sit down on such a chair which is loosened with the wooden pegs. So what does the carpenter do is that they remove that wooden peg, wooden nail, and they put a new nail there. How do they do that? Because it's already fine and there's no space like out from this fixed two sticks of the two woods, so cannot find any space because it's already fine. So how do they put a new nail there?
Turn out the other one.
Yeah.
So today about the wood carpentry. Okay, we are going to talk about the carpentry.
Well, you don't need to take it out, put water in it,
Well,
with the expense.
that's not in the sutta. That's not the way in the teaching. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, we can do that. Oh, nowadays we can put a iron nail. Why do we need wooden pegs? So what they do is that they take a new, fresh wooden nail and place it on the top of the one that is already fixed, which need to be knocked out, and they use this hammer and keep hammering. I keep like gradually hammering, and what happens? is that the one which is already rotten, like already broken, will gradually move from its place, and the new one will fill up the gap, and the new one will replace, and the older one will knock off from that place. So now there's a new one. Now what happened to the chair? Chair will be very
It's solid
strangely.
again.
It's powerful again. Same way, our mind has these rotten, like distracted thoughts. What we do is we introduce a new wooden peg. We introduce a new set of thoughts. We introduce always. We can do that always because mind is always fresh. Mind is always comes with these distractions, distracted thoughts. It's our choice. It's our choice to introduce a new thought. Why, mind? Why don't you think about the Buddha? It's a very good time to think about the Buddha. Why don't you think about the Dhamma? Mind, you can think about the Sangha. You can think about your own ethics that you protect so much loudly, protect so much purely, sacredly. Why don't you think about that? So we can give this chance. And what happens over time, I don't say that it happens today or tomorrow. We don't know because it depends with the one's own spiritual faculties. So it can take 1 year. No, not 1 year, I'm sorry. Perhaps not 1 year. It can take 1 week. But it's worth of trying that. Yes. Even though it takes 1 year. Yeah. Why? Because at some point we will be so happy if we replace a distracted thought with a new thought. There will not be such a happiness with sense pleasures. No. Even we were to win entire country, a lottery, let's say a lottery, we win a lottery. We are having a problem. When this my money will end. But if we were to win from this inner battle, it will be much more like powerful. So we can, that's what actually motivates us to observe the next thoughts and fight with those thoughts and replace them. Okay. So then he said, you will find gladness. That's what happened. Thinking about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and ethics, you'll find gladness. And rapture and bliss as well. You will get rapture and bliss as well. It's a more succession of this process. If we were to attack all these unskillful thoughts with good thoughts, our mind start to find its enjoyment with the good thoughts, the skillful thoughts. And it will stay with that thought. Because what mind wants is the enjoyment, excitement. No matter it is bad or good, mind wants the enjoyment. So if we provide the good thoughts and teach the mind to happy with the good thoughts, so it will definitely follow that direction. Because our problem is ignorance. Our problem is doesn't know what is good and what is bad. So that's why rapture and bliss as well, and no doubt. Oh, that's beautiful. No doubt. Why there's no doubt? Now we do have doubt. Why there's no doubt is because now we are directly experiencing that. Now, after reading this, we might get doubt because it's not the practice. It's not the direct experience. But after practicing that, there's no doubt. Rapture will arise and you will not gonna face to any problem. Now, during the practice, there will be doubts coming on. So that's why right after we studying a sutta, we should think a certain way. Do you remember that? I taught that in Tuesday session. There is a mantra we should always think right after studying a sutta. What is it? What?
Investigation.
What the Tina said?
Down, always believe the Buddha.
Buddha said to think like this for the practitioner. He said, think like this whenever doubt arises. Buddha is my teacher. I am the student. Buddha knows. I don't know. Why? Why do we need to think like that?
This is the space to learn.
Yeah. Yes. What happen if we think the other way around? Like Buddha, I know. The others don't know. My teacher don't know, but I know. My teacher don't know anything, but I know.
It's considered arrogance.
What will happen? So the angry thought arises. Yeah. I know. Anger. Yeah, start to follow. So no way to, because of the ego. Yeah. Because mind is that much powerful. Even we know that the chocolate is very little and it's on the screen, and it's already like made with the computers, like the technology. We already know that, but that's enough to attach. Yes. So that is why right after studying the sutta, what we do is that we establish our faith, trust, confidence on the teaching. Yeah. And then we give it a try. And after we goes by, we verify the teaching. We verify ourselves by the teaching through our experience. It's not merely blind faith, but we are verifying that through the practice. Then that faith, confidence will be concrete, like very well confirmed. Then there will be a person come to us and tell us, well, that's not true. This doesn't work. This way you cannot abandon distracted thoughts. Somebody will tell you. Entire world will tell you that's incorrect. If you were to have the direct experience, what are you going to tell? What do you will tell? Yeah. And you'll be well and happy. That happened once. The god Saka came to a beggar. He was a beggar and searching for food. All of a sudden, he saw the people are crowded, like surrounded with a recluse. So he went to that place. Then he saw it was Buddha. Buddha was teaching the Dhamma. So the Buddha say about the Dhamma. So this beggar enlightened by listening to the Dhamma. He became a stream enter. And then the god Saka saw this man is going to the living as the beggar. If others were to criticize him and tell him as a beggar, the others will accumulate bad karma because of his stage of attaining, like the stream entry. So others will do bad merits because of insulting him. I better go and engage with this. So the god Saka say, could you please, beggar, I will give you 1,000 coins, golden coins. Could you please tell me, like the Buddha is bad, Dhamma is incorrect, and the Sangha is impure or something? Like, can you insult? So then he asked, so he said, who are you? Who are you here? Like you are trying to deceive me. I already awakened. I know by truth. This is the correct, this meditation is correct. So I attain these results. Whatever you say, he said that in the text, you are in the sky, so you're saying this, but I don't, yeah. So he said he said him to like go away. And then the discussion started among the people. So the people later understood that this man is a stream mentor. So then, yeah, they pay their respect. Anyway, so yeah, the doubt should be overcome by direct experience, and that will happen after practicing. And don't know how long does that make, does it takes, but it's worth of trying. And when you are full of joy, you will make an end of suffering. So that's where I start our ending of our suffering. Impelled by that deity, that mendicant was struck with sense of urgency, which means he got this confidence, so he started to meditate. Perhaps this monk is already enlightened, who knows? 2,600 years ago. Okay. Yeah, Sotapanna. Streaming. So. Yes?
Meditation skill, we put that again, like 50% of concentration or focus on the breath and most 50% on the moving that body.
Yeah.
Not to focus on one point.
Yes.
Relax, natural.
Yes. You're asking for the yeah.
Sati Sampajanya?
No,
Focus and awareness.
I think what is the question? Like, are you asking about what is the
skill.
skill? Yeah. Actually, that is we are trying to assign our thinking to the process of breathing. Normally, we don't need to think to breathe. Like, we don't need to think to breathe in and breathe out. It's a natural process. But we are trying to follow that because it's not very easy to find. Like, if I were to tell, like, close your eyes and find your breath, we are very hard to find it. So we are giving some instructions, even though it's not among the teachings, original teachings by the Buddha. With our teachers' traditions, we are being taught that you can think as it moves in and out. You can think by your words. Oh, I'm breathing. Now I'm breathing out. Breathing and breathe out. Does that make sense when I'm saying background awareness? Let's say we are driving the car. We are doing that. But in the same time, we are thinking something back of our mind. That is the background awareness. That's how I can explain, I think. Might not be. Yeah.
Even dreams, I find, right? We have certain types of dreams that are restless or, they sort of show how your mind is managing, right? Like a lot of this is, as if we're watching, it's automatic, right?
Yes.
Thoughts come to us without us trying to feel. And then there's also triggers, right? Because sometimes I find that I see something that reminds me of something from the past, either happy or unhappy. And then suddenly, without even thinking before, as you said, the river takes over.
Yeah, it is just giving a chance to observe the breath more and more easily by thinking that. When we think, please don't go much into that. Like, this is not the question. Like, the question is, like, why we cannot focus to the breath. The question is not what is background awareness or what is breathing, but the problem is we need to think. This is in breath. This is out breath. So thinking supports us to enter to the natural flow of breath. That's what I'm saying. Let's say there is a time that we are frightened. You see, then what we do is like we think, no, I should not frighten. I should not scare. I should not be fear. I should not frighten. So we give a suggestion like I should not do, like I should not get frightened. So it is making us, our mind, by a thought, to come to this present moment, not to being afraid. The same way we are telling our mind, oh, this is in breath, this is out breath. It's just a word. It takes us to the process of in and out breath. At some point, you don't need to think. Why? Your mind already entered to the process of in and out breath.
If you're totally concentrated on it, you cannot have another thought.
Yes, so you don't need to think again and again because at some point you easily drop that because your awareness was increased.
Just
Yeah.
observing your breath, like, just observe, not thinking.
Not thinking, that's
That
not,
sounds, no, not breathing, but you're just observing how it goes. The inflow, the outflow.
Yeah.
Just observing.
that's the original teaching. That's the original teaching. You don't need to think anything, just you close your eyes and you start to observe the breath. But later, with the teachers' traditions, they have invented these techniques. They say to think. I'm breathing. But if somebody can do that easily without thinking, that's the best way to practice it. And normally, I used to know some practitioners that they do the meditation of loving kindness before starting breath. Some of them do the Buddha meditation before they starting the breath. So, which means their mind come to little bit peaceful state so that they can easily observe. But it doesn't say you need to focus to the specific location. Sometimes there are teachings say focus to the belly, focus to the nostril,
It's just upper lip.
focus to the upper lip. And some say, I found recently in Winnipeg a month ago, a person who is meditating with the breath, focus into the flow of the breath back of the throat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how, but she said she feels so much relaxed. I think it's a kind of a concentration, a well-developed concentration, but never try that because that's not the correct way. If we do incorrectly, it can lead us to problems. Yeah, it can lead us to problems.
In Winnipeg, it has to be focused on snow.
Yes.
What I thought arises while we were doing meditation.
Yeah.
Do we acknowledge that thought, whether it's a happy thought, like thought, like anger? Do we acknowledge the thought that's there? So let's say I'm thinking, okay, after I finish here, I have to go grocery shopping. Right, as an example, or oh, I have to make this for dinner. Do we acknowledge, okay, this thought has arrived in the mind, and then just quickly?
You can try skipping that thought when it start to manifest, if you can, because there is ongoing breathing, right? It is ongoing. You will see that this thought is entering if you can, the very first moment it is arising, because you already have some space to observe because you are doing a meditation, not just like the other days. You are not like doing many activities because you are sitting down and you're observing your breath. You will see the initial steps of manifesting this thought, which means it doesn't come to the strength. I mean, like it doesn't become powerful all of a sudden. I mean, like let's say there's an angry thought, it is not getting powerful at the very first time, but it's over time become powerful because lack of our focus. It will be powerful because we don't pay focus attention to it. So back of our without conscious, it can be powerful. It can grow. So there is a very moment while we are breathing and breathe out, this thought entering. Let's say thought is saying about going to the Walmart or something. So we try to catch that and we skip that and come back to the breath.
Like some thoughts are so powerful, like emotions are extremely powerful.
And like when they arise, it's incredibly difficult to be like, okay, I'm not thinking about this. Because they consume you in like even bodily sensations. It's almost like you feel tremulous or like your heart feels really like
Yes.
heavy.
We should recognize that no matter how much distracted or how much powerful, we should recognize it. Recognizing means we should, acknowledge it. Like we should focus entirely our attention to this emotion. It's a way of observing. We observe that. Let's say, yeah.
It could be that in that moment when we're rushed with this kind of thought, it will be, I don't know, helpful if we try to be rational about it. As it says in there, you
Yeah.
not make it rational instead of to fall into the emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Tina asked about the way, like when it entering while doing the breathing. So we can apply this technique by skipping that. But there are times, like you said, it's much more powerful, and it can even take entire our body and like make us so much painful. So in that moment, we apply that rational thinking because it is very powerful. You are start to attack. You are attacking with your reflection, or this is this emotion. So what happened to the emotions we had powerful like 10 years ago? Is it still powerful like that now? If we give it attention, it can be grow back if we remember. But I'm referring to the impermanence. Like it came and it went. No matter how far, how powerful the emotions, they are not under our control. They comes and they go. I mean, we cannot control it because it's really amazing. Like there's a sutta, Buddha teach about let's say we put have you seen that there are like video clips, like they put these blackberries under the microscope? Blackberry, strawberry under the microscope, and then zoom out, and then it's very like it has some like beings. Because it's already like focused and like zoom out, it shows us all the function of this strawberry or the blackberry. Like it has such things that invisible to our eyes, but as long as there is like under the microscope, we can see that. There is a sutta Buddha explain about the zoom out into the thought, how it start to manifest one by one by one by one. Let's say I have a single angry thought. Buddha explain about this microscopic view of this angry thought. Yeah, that would be the most like interesting sutta. So he say, yeah, it's a long discussion, but what I wanted to tell is that if we zoom out into any thought, it is constantly arising and vanishing. Even it appears to us it's permanent, but it's changing. Because our consciousness is changing. Our consciousness is collecting the properties, the qualities, and the flavors of the thought. It's keep on catching all the flavors of the thought without knowing that it is changing. Yeah.
But the consciousness helps to articulate the negative thought, helps our rationality combines and then help us. Is that I'm not sure.
Say it again.
The consciousness
Yeah.
helps us to take or dismember the irrational thought with the help of the rationality.
Yes. You were saying about the replacing, right? I mean, like
yes,
negative.
The
Negative. Yeah, rational thought. When there's negative thought, are you asking like?
Yeah, the consciousness, how is the role of the consciousness in there?
Well, with your rational thinking, you are getting more understanding about that negative thought, and the factor which brings you understanding is the consciousness. Let's share our merits. May all the devas rejoice in our merits. By the power of this merit, may all the devas be able to attain the Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may they kindly look after all my friends practicing Dhamma until their enlightenment. Sadhu. Next, may all our past relatives rejoice in our merit, and by the power of this merit, may all the departed relatives be able to attain the peace of mind. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May my teacher Bhante, Lokuswamin Nahanse, and Jivananda Bhante, and all the other Bhantes rejoice in this merit. May all the Bhantes attain the peace of mind. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may all my friends who join to this discussion through online and also in person rejoice in this merit. And may you have all the success in your practices. May you have great success in your Dhamma practices and your life. And may everything get success. And may you have long life, happiness, health, and beauty. And may you soon be able to realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Okay, friends. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome. Yes. 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 Supateva.
Maya kata punya samina moditaba.
Sadhu anumodami.
Samina kata punya maya databa.
Sadhu anumodite.
Sadu anumodami. Ukasa buatana. Katang sabang ajayan kamatamina.
Kamami kamitapa. Supateva nidukeva nidukeva. Sansara dukkhinatimidewa. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Take care, friends. Good night.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante.
Terasa rasa.
Good night.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante.
Namo Buddhaya.